Hi there, and welcome to English in Ease. I'm Emily, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. Whether you're walking to class, sitting at your desk with a cup of tea, or just lying on your couch winding down, this time is for you to grow your English and to feel more confident using it in the real world. Today, we're diving into something that may seem simple, but it's actually one of the most powerful tools in your English learning toolkit: how to talk about your daily routine. Now, before you say, Emily, I already know how to say I wake up at 7 or I go to work at 9, I want you to stay with me. Because yes, the vocabulary might be familiar, but learning how to describe your routine clearly, naturally, and with confidence is more than memorizing a few verbs. It's about finding your voice in English, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a conversation, maybe at work or while traveling, and someone asked, "So, what's your typical day like?" That's such a common question, and in English-speaking cultures, people often use that question to get to know you better. Whether you're in a classroom introducing yourself, on a Zoom call with new colleagues, or even chatting with someone you've just met at a coffee shop, talking about your daily routine is a great way to connect. It's also one of the best ways to practice the present simple tense, one of the core grammar structures in English. You might not realize it yet, but once you master the rhythm of present simple, you'll notice your English starts to sound more natural and fluid. So, why does it matter? Why is being able to describe your day, from sunrise to sunset, such a useful skill? Well, first, it gives structure to your vocabulary. Instead of learning random words, you learn them in a sequence that makes sense. It mirrors real life. Second, it helps you build confidence. When you know how to describe your own life, you feel more in control. You don't have to search for words or worry about grammar. You just talk. And third, when you can talk about your routine, you're not just practicing grammar or vocabulary. You're telling your story. You're building the foundation for deeper, more meaningful conversations in English. Let's start with the basics, some of the most common action verbs people use to describe their day. These words are simple, but they're used constantly in daily conversation. I'll say each word, give an example sentence, and then pause a moment. If you're in a quiet space, say the sentence out loud with me, or repeat after me. Speaking is the key to remembering. Ready? Wake up. I wake up at 6:30 in the morning. Get up. I get up right after my alarm goes off. Brush my teeth. I brush my teeth before breakfast. Take a shower. I usually take a shower in the morning. Get dressed. I get dressed after I shower. Eat breakfast. I eat breakfast at 7 a.m. Go to work or go to school. I go to work at 8 o'clock. She goes to school at 7:30. Start work. I start work at 9. Have lunch. I have lunch around 12:30. Finish work. I finish work at 5 p.m. Come home. I come home around 6. Cook dinner. I cook dinner most evenings. Watch TV. I watch TV after dinner. Go to bed. I go to bed around 10:30. See how simple those are? Yet when you put them together, they form the rhythm of your day. Now, let's bring in some helpful time expressions. These are words that help explain when you do things. They're often small, but they make your sentences feel more complete. Here are a few examples. In the morning. I read the news in the morning. In the afternoon. I drink tea in the afternoon. In the evening. I cook dinner in the evening. At night. I sometimes read at night before bed. We also have frequency adverbs, words that tell us how often something happens. Always. I always make my bed. Usually. I usually eat lunch at noon. Sometimes. I sometimes skip breakfast. Never. I never go to bed late. Let's put it together. Listen to this. I usually wake up at 6:30 in the morning. I always brush my teeth and take a quick shower. Then I eat breakfast and go to work. In the evening, I cook dinner and watch TV. I never stay up too late. I go to bed at 10. That's a short paragraph, but it includes so much useful language. Now, here's something I want you to do today. When this episode is over, take 5 minutes, just 5, and write down your routine in English. Keep it simple. Write exactly what you do in the morning, afternoon, and evening. You don't need fancy words. Just write what's real for you. Then, say it out loud. That's how you start building fluency, not by memorizing long word lists, but by using real language to talk about real life. And here's the beautiful part. Once you can talk about your daily routine, you can ask others about theirs. And that opens up new opportunities for connection, for learning, and for growth. So far, we've learned a set of core vocabulary, time expressions, and some essential grammar patterns. But now it's time to hear it in action. In the next section, I'll share with you my personal daily routine. You'll hear how I use the words we've talked about today, naturally as part of a story. Then I'll guide you through creating your own version, so you're not just listening, but applying what you learn. So grab a notebook if you have one, or just listen closely. You're doing great. Let's keep going. Welcome back. I hope you're feeling more confident already. Now that we've explored the essential vocabulary and time expressions, let's see how it all fits together in a real-life example. I promised I'd share my daily routine with you, and I will. But as you listen, I want you to do something extra. Don't just listen to the words, listen to the patterns. How do I begin my sentences? What time expressions do I use? How do I describe actions in a simple, clear way? All of this is what helps your English sound more natural. So, here we go. This is what a typical weekday looks like for me. I usually wake up at 6:30 in the morning. It's not always easy, especially when it's cold or rainy outside, but I try to wake up at the same time every day because it helps me feel more focused. Right after I wake up, I get up and open the curtains. I like to let in a little sunlight if there is any. Then I go to the bathroom to brush my teeth and wash my face. After that, I take a quick shower. Nothing fancy, just 5 minutes to feel fresh and awake. Then I make a cup of tea. I used to drink coffee every morning, but these days I prefer something a little more gentle. Usually, I drink green tea or chamomile. While I drink my tea, I eat a light breakfast. Maybe toast with peanut butter, or sometimes fruit and yogurt. I always try to eat something, even if I'm not very hungry. It gives me energy for the morning. Around 7:30, I sit at my desk and check my emails. I might also read a few pages from a book or go over my to-do list for the day. It's my little quiet moment before the world gets busy. At 8, I start work. I work from home, which means I don't have to commute, but I still try to treat it like a real job. I get dressed, I sit at my desk, and I start working. Usually, I take a short break around 10:30 to stretch or walk around my apartment. Then I keep working until lunchtime. I have lunch at about 12:30. If I'm busy, I'll eat something quick, like a sandwich. But on slower days, I cook something warm, maybe rice with vegetables or noodles and soup. After lunch, I like to go for a short walk if the weather is nice, just around the neighborhood. It helps me reset my mind before going back to work. I finish work around 5 p.m., and then the evening begins. In the evening, I do different things depending on the day. Sometimes I go grocery shopping or clean up around the house. Other times, I meet a friend for coffee or just relax on my sofa. At 7 o'clock, I usually cook dinner. I like trying new recipes, but I also have my favorites, like stir-fried vegetables with rice or pasta with tomato sauce. Simple, but delicious. After dinner, I watch a little TV or listen to a podcast. Sometimes I read a book or write in my journal. And finally, I try to go to bed around 10:30. I don't always succeed, but I try. So, that's my usual weekday. It's not perfect, it's not exciting, but it's mine. And most importantly, it's full of real, useful English that you can use too. Now, let's talk about your routine. If you haven't done it yet, I'd love for you to take just a few minutes and describe your own daily routine. Start simple. Use the verbs we practiced. Add a few time expressions. Then say it out loud. Here's an example of how you could begin. I wake up at 7 o'clock. I get up and take a shower. I eat breakfast at 7:30. I go to school at 8. I have lunch at noon. I finish school at 3. I go home, relax, and eat dinner with my family. I go to bed at 10. Easy, right? Clear and practical. Over time, you can add more details. For example, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I go to the gym in the evening. Sometimes I skip breakfast, but I always have coffee. In the evening, I like to draw or listen to music. The more details you add, the more personal and natural it becomes. And here's a tip. If you want to take your English even further, try recording yourself. Use your phone or computer. Read your routine out loud and listen back. You might be surprised how much you can learn from hearing your own voice. Also, don't forget, your routine doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be interesting. It just has to be real. Now that you've heard mine, and hopefully written your own, I want to give you a few more useful patterns and questions that you can use when talking about routines, especially if you're in a conversation. Because remember, English is not just about speaking, it's also about connecting. Let's look at some sentence patterns you can use. I always plus verb. I always drink tea in the morning. I usually plus verb. I usually go to the library after class. I sometimes plus verb. I sometimes take a nap in the afternoon. I never plus verb. I never eat dinner after 9 p.m. Simple, right? Now, here are some questions you can ask someone else. What time do you wake up? Do you eat breakfast at home or outside? How do you get to work or school? What do you usually do after dinner? Do you ever stay up late? And don't forget, when you're asking about someone else, like he or she, remember to use does. For example, what time does she go to bed? Does he work from home? What does she usually eat for lunch? These are small details, but they make a big difference in how natural your English sounds. So, here's your next small challenge. Practice a mini conversation with yourself. You can play both parts. It might feel a little silly, but it's one of the best ways to build confidence. Let's try a short example together. You can repeat after me or just listen. Emily, what time do you wake up? You, I wake up at 6:30. Emily, do you eat breakfast? Yes, I usually eat toast and eggs. Emily, what do you do in the evening? I watch TV or read a book before bed. Nice and easy. You see, you're building fluency one sentence at a time. Coming up in the next part, we'll go over the grammar behind these routine sentences. We'll break down the present simple tense, how it works, when to use it, and how to avoid common mistakes. You'll also learn how to form negative sentences, like I don't eat meat, and questions like do you go to school on weekends? So stay with me because you're doing an amazing job so far. Let's keep making English part of your everyday life. Welcome back to English in Ease. I'm Emily, and I'm so proud of how far you've come in this lesson. You've already learned the most important vocabulary and time expressions for talking about your routine. You've heard how I use them in my daily life. Maybe you've even started writing or speaking about your own routine. And if you haven't yet, don't worry, there's still time. Now it's time to dig a little deeper and look at the grammar behind all of this. Because while we want our English to sound natural and relaxed, we also want it to be correct. So let's talk about the present simple tense, what it is, how it works, and how you can use it smoothly when describing your daily life. So what is the present simple tense? It's the verb tense we use to describe things that are true in general, habits, facts, and routines. That's why it's perfect for today's topic. Let's start with a few examples. I wake up at 7. She eats breakfast at 8. We go to school every day. They work from home. See the pattern? These are all regular actions, things that happen again and again. Now here's one key rule I want you to remember. When the subject is he, she, or it, we usually add s to the verb. This is something many learners forget, but it's very important if you want to sound accurate in English. Let's look at some quick comparisons. I eat, he eats. You go, she goes. They watch, it watches. We finish, she finishes. It's a small change, but it matters a lot. Let me give you a short sentence set. Repeat after me if you can. I go to work at 9. He goes to work at 9. I cook dinner every night. She cooks dinner every night. Did you hear the difference? It's not she cook, it's she cooks. These little details build a strong foundation in grammar. Now let's talk about negative sentences in the present simple. To make a sentence negative, we use don't or doesn't plus the base form of the verb. Let's break that down. Use don't with I, you, we, and they. I don't drink coffee at night. They don't go to the gym on Mondays. Use doesn't with he, she, and it. She doesn't eat meat. He doesn't watch TV after dinner. Notice something important here? After don't or doesn't, the verb goes back to the base form. That's right, no s. So we say, check, she doesn't eat. X, she doesn't eats. That's a very common mistake. So just remember, with doesn't, drop the s. Now let's talk about questions in the present simple. We use do or does at the beginning of the sentence. Use do with I, you, we, and they. Do you wake up early? Do they go to school on weekends? Use does with he, she, and it. Does he eat breakfast every day? Does she work on Sundays? And again, after does, we use the base form of the verb. Check. Does she go to work? X. Does she goes to work? See the pattern? Here's a quick summary. Use the base form for I, you, we, and they. I eat, we go, they read. Add s for he, she, it. He eats, she goes. Use don't or doesn't for negatives. Use do or does for questions. Keep this structure in mind and your grammar will become more automatic over time. Now, I want to go over a few common mistakes English learners often make when talking about their daily routine. These are easy to fix, but you need to know what to watch for. Mistake number 1, forgetting the s with he, she, or it. X, he go to school. Check, he goes to school. X, she eat dinner at 7. Check, she eats dinner at 7. Mistake number 2, using the wrong verb form after doesn't. X, she doesn't eat breakfast. Check, she doesn't eat breakfast. Mistake number 3, using continuous tense by mistake. X, I am waking up at 7 every day. Check, I wake up at 7 every day. Remember, we use present simple, not present continuous for routines and habits. Mistake number 4, using the wrong word order in questions. X, you go to work at 9. Check, do you go to work at 9? That one is very common, especially for learners who speak a language that doesn't use auxiliary verbs like do or does. So, if you've made any of these mistakes before, don't worry. That just means you're learning. We all make mistakes, and that's how we improve. Now, let's finish today's lesson with a little practice. I'll ask you a few questions about your daily routine. You can pause the audio after each question and answer it out loud. Are you ready? What time do you usually wake up? Do you eat breakfast at home or outside? How do you go to school or work? What do you usually do in the evening? What time do you go to bed? And if you want to challenge yourself, try asking yourself a few questions using does. For example, what time does your friend wake up? Does your sister go to work in the morning? Does your teacher drink coffee? Practicing both sides, statements and questions, will help you feel more confident and fluent. Before we wrap up, let me share just a few more tips for using your routine as a powerful English learning tool. Write it down. Keep a short journal in English. Each morning or evening, write 3 to 5 sentences about your day. Say it out loud. Even if you're alone, talk through your day in English. The more you speak, the more confident you'll feel. Record yourself. Use your phone to record yourself talking about your routine. Then listen and check your grammar and pronunciation. Ask others. If you have a friend learning English, or even a teacher or tutor, practice asking and answering routine questions together. Make it real. Don't just repeat textbook sentences. Talk about your real life. Use your real times, your real habits. That's how you make English part of who you are. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We've covered so much, from daily vocabulary and time expressions to grammar patterns and conversation skills. And remember, even though this topic might seem basic, it's actually one of the most powerful things you can learn. Because being able to talk about your day means being able to talk about your life. And that's the first step towards confidence, fluency, and connection. So, here's your challenge. Over the next few days, try to talk about your routine in English every day, just for a few minutes. You can do it in the mirror, into your phone, or with a friend. You're not just practicing grammar, you're building your voice. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you found this lesson helpful, make sure to subscribe to English in Ease and share this episode with a friend who's learning English too. And if you'd like more tips, grammar breakdowns, or pronunciation help, check out the other episodes on the channel. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, English is not just a subject. It's a part of your life now. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.